I simply love this part of the watch hobby, being able to showcase independent brand watches and what they have to offer to the community. I reached out to Nick from Orion Watches to see if he would be interested in me doing a review on one of his models. And he happily obliged by loaning me this Orion Sylph Burgundy to make this review. Now, Nick isn't just an enthusiast that is passionate about watches to open his independent brand. He actually is a certified watchmaker, having attended Seattle Watch Technology Institute and receiving a Swiss American Watch Training Alliance, or SAWTA, certification. Now keep in mind that this watch is a demo model, so it's not brand new in the box, and this watch is only a loaner, and I haven't received any other compensation to make this video. Kicking things off, we have a bracelet, 316L stainless steel, brushed. This style of bracelet reminds me of those old vintage style bracelets, you know, the ones that had like the elastic stretch to them. You know which ones I'm talking about, right? They don't necessarily stretch, but they do articulate very well. The links have friction fitted pins and collars to keep them fastened to each other. We get female end links that make for a nice close encounter to the wrist coming off of the watch. Angled polished relief cut found at the bottom of each link, giving the bracelet a more profound three-dimensional look to them. A folded over push button deployment clasp, 5 micro adjustment spring bar holes, brushed with polishing on the sides of the clasp with the company logo engraved towards the center top point of it. Flipping her over on the case back, it is entirely high polished, sterile of text, only small images of circles and a star giving off a constellation or universe theme. The caseback is screwed in with 6 points of screws, and from this angle we can see the back of the case being brushed. For keyless work function, the crown has a nice knurling to it, polished and signed with the logo on its head, and very easy to grip due to its size and finishing. And yes, you are getting a screwed down crown, effectively making this watch 100 meters of water resistance. On her side and top profile, the casing has been entirely brushed except for the edging outlined in a polished finish. The bezel is highly polished to a mirror-like effect except for the very inner portion on a top side view that greets the sapphire treated AR coated crystal. And just underneath that crystal, we find an hour and minute hand that are faceted and diamond cut, giving off a high level of reflection and finishing, and are filled with BGW9 lume applied handsomely. The second hand, however, is in all bright yellow and shaped in a long stretched triangle extending out to the edge of the dial. Speaking of the dial, I'm actually a sucker for this sunburst look. I absolutely love it. It has a nice burgundy red, kind of like a wine color look to it, and in different lightings it's going to change from darker to lighter, which it just plays on the lighting very, very nicely. And with this dial, it begins at the borders with a sparkling silver printed rally track to set the minutes. For the hours, the markers that we get are applied indices cut from stainless steel and have a nice downward angle at the ends for the rectangular shapes and triangle for the 3, 6, 9, and 12 value. All of which is polished and filled with that BGW9 lume. At the 12 o'clock position, we also receive sparkling and silver print with the company name and logo. And at the 6 o'clock, we have Sylph for the model printed in yellow, matching that second hand, and automatic text in white. All of which is powered by the Miyota 9039 reliable high beat movement with hacking and hand winding features, and also being an automatic movement. Improvements for the watch. The high polished caseback may be a slippery slope, as it will be a magnet for scratches received even by its neighboring clasp. I also think that the watch would get more elevation if the clasp had an on-the-fly quick adjustment feature for those hot summer days where your wrist swells. Drilled lugs, or if not to break up the flow of the finishing on the sides, at the very least a quick release at the lug attachment of the bracelet would be of great value to us. $725 isn't necessarily an outrageous price. It may be slightly above water for an independent brand in the space of vintage style inspiration. That opinion will be subjective depending on what you value. There's definitely a lot of refinement here and a lot of features that have been placed within the watch to justify the cost, so it all depends on what you think and what you value at the end of the day. Despite the improvements mentioned on the bracelet, it's absolutely comfortable and very nice to look at on wrist. There's definitely a lot of refinement into the details of making this watch, and I personally feel like the dimensions that were given to the case of the watch are perfect proportions. 39 millimeters in diameter by 47 millimeters lug to lug. It has a 20 millimeter lug width, and it's only 10.5 millimeters in thickness. With these proportions, I can easily see myself dressing up with this watch, being able to fit underneath the cuff without a problem, or dressing down in a regular attire and just hanging out with the watch on a regular Sunday. As far as the design language goes in the vintage arena, this watch has executed it with dead accuracy. And of course, we have the added benefits of the modern technology within it. And this may sound a little silly, but the crown proportions are absolutely perfect, and it's easy to grip and use, with the wearer having a great experience when setting the time or winding the watch. There are 3 colorways to choose from. That includes this burgundy colorway. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to view the watch for yourself on his website, and let me know if you guys own this watch and what has been your experience with it. So let's not forget, it all started with a watch. No matter where your watch collection journey takes you, no matter how you decide to collect, you guys are all welcome on this channel and in this community, as you should be. I thank you guys for checking out this review, and I'll see you in the next one.